Welcome to the Stoic Golden Tribe, where enduring wisdom meets the strength of presence, and where we uncover the truths modern society refuses to teach men. Today we dive into the dark silence that makes her addicted to you. This isn't about manipulation, it's about understanding the unspoken power of masculine presence. It's about why a man who can master silence becomes irresistible to her deepest instincts. We'll talk about why women are drawn to mystery, how ancient warriors used silence as power, and how you can apply this to modern dating and relationships, not to play games, but to reclaim your natural authority and emotional mastery. By the end of this video, you'll understand why your silence can speak louder than 1,000 words and how embracing this discipline will not only make her want you more, but will transform you into the man you were meant to be. I want you to watch closely, listen deeply, and reflect honestly. If you're ready to awaken the strength within you, leave a comment below saying, "I'm ready." Let's get started. Chapter 1. The Ancient Power of Masculine Silence. Let's start with the truth modern society hates to admit. Women are drawn to men they can't completely figure out. I want you to really understand this. In an age of endless chatter, social media, and oversharing, a man who is calm, self-contained, and unbothered by silence is magnetic. It's not because he's trying to play games, it's because he is grounded, centered, whole. Let's look back to ancient times. Think of the Spartan warrior, the Roman centurion, the samurai sitting in Caesar before a duel. They weren't babbling nervously, they weren't telling everyone their plans. They were silent, watchful, present. Their silence wasn't emptiness, it was concentration, readiness. It communicated one thing: I am in control of myself. Women have always responded to this. Even today, in our supposedly evolved dating scene, women's deepest instincts are unchanged because they want to feel safe with a man who is unmoved by chaos. But here's the problem most men face today. They're terrified of silence. They want to fill it with jokes, compliments, begging, explaining themselves. They're so afraid she'll get bored or lose interest if they're not constantly performing. And that's exactly why she does lose interest, because she can feel it. The neediness, the insecurity, the lack of self-possession. Here's what you have to understand. Silence isn't absence. Silence is presence. When you are silent and at ease, it says, I don't need to prove anything to you. I'm content in myself. I'm observing. I'm listening. I'm not in a rush. This is what women crave at a primal level. Think about it. The ancient chieftain didn't explain every decision to the tribe. The emperor didn't ramble. The wise elder spoke little, but when he did, everyone listened. This isn't just historical drama. It's a blueprint for masculine authority. Now let's get practical. Most men sabotage themselves in dating because they see silence as failure. They go on a date, and if there's even a 2-second pause, they panic. They think, quick, say something, make her laugh, compliment her again. But watch what happens when you embrace silence instead. You let that pause breathe. You look at her calmly. She starts to wonder, what's he thinking? Why isn't he trying so hard? What does he see in me? That curiosity is the seed of desire. She leans in because you're not leaning over her. She invests because you're not begging. Your silence is space for her to feel you. This isn't about playing cold or acting rude. Don't confuse emotional unavailability with grounded silence. Silence is only powerful when it comes from genuine confidence, when you're calm, comfortable, and authentic. Because here's another ancient truth. Women want to know they can't shake you. Life is chaos, emotions are storms. She wants to know you can handle both, hers and yours. When you speak less, but with clarity and intent, she listens more. When you're not racing to fill every gap, you communicate that you're not afraid of what she might think. It tells her, I am enough. I don't chase validation. I'm not desperate to please you. That doesn't make you an uncaring man. In fact, it makes you one who can truly lead, love, and protect, because you're not led around by fear. Let's not forget that this isn't just for her benefit. Silence is your training ground. It teaches you self-control. It reveals your own thoughts to you. It's where you learn to be comfortable with yourself. That's the foundation of a relationship worth having, because how can you truly be with her if you can't even be with yourself? Look at modern dating advice. Just text her constantly. Tell her you're thinking about her every second. Never let her get bored. It's nonsense. Because if she senses you can't stand still in your own mind, she knows you'll crumble when life gets hard. So instead, you practice silence. You pause before you speak. You let the conversation breathe. You don't rush to explain or defend yourself. And you watch how she responds. You'll see her leaning in. You'll see her eyes search yours for meaning. Because now you're a mystery, not because you're hiding something, but because you're unreadable in the best way. You're layered, you're disciplined, you're a man she can respect, and respect is the foundation of attraction. Remember, a woman will be drawn to a man who listens more than he speaks. She will test a man who can't hold silence, and she will surrender to a man whose silence feels safe. This is ancient wisdom modern men have forgotten, and it's time to reclaim it. This chapter isn't just about dating advice, it's about becoming a man who doesn't fear himself, because once you're at home in your own silence, you'll be at home anywhere, and she will feel that, deep in her bones. That's how you make her addicted, not to a performance, but to the truth of you. Drop a comment below. Tell me how you handle silence with women. Chapter 2. The Mystery She Craves. Let's go even deeper. If Chapter 1 taught us that silence is presence, then Chapter 2 is about understanding why mystery is irresistible. This is something men have always known, until modern life taught them to betray it. Look at ancient mythologies. The Greeks had gods who spoke in riddles. The oracle at Delphi didn't explain everything plainly. Mystery wasn't confusion, it was depth. The samurai would sit in meditation for hours without saying a word before combat. Not to look cool, but because they knew control of self is the highest power. Women are drawn to mystery for the same reason they're drawn to power. Because mystery is possibility. It suggests there's more to you than you reveal, and that's intoxicating. But let's be clear, modern men ruin this completely. They hear "be mysterious" and think they need to be cold, aloof, rude. They act like they don't care. They shut down emotionally. That's not mystery, that's insecurity with a tough mask. Real mystery is when you show enough to be real, but not everything. It's when you're warm but not desperate, present but not needy, when you speak with meaning but don't try to explain your entire soul in the first hour. You see, women want to earn your truth. They want to feel they've discovered something in you. They want the experience of unfolding your layers, because then you're not just another man performing for her approval. You're the man she has to win. This doesn't mean you hide your emotions. A stoic man is not an emotionless man. He simply chooses when to reveal them and how. Imagine a king. He doesn't announce every thought to his court. He listens, watches, speaks only when he chooses, and when he does, his words carry weight. That's what she wants from you. Because if you're willing to reveal everything instantly, you're showing her you don't value yourself enough to guard it. Women instinctively test this. She'll ask about your past, your feelings, your intentions. There's nothing wrong with being open, but do it with intention, not desperation. Don't overshare hoping she'll like you more. Give her a real answer. But let her sense there's more she hasn't seen yet. Let her feel you're comfortable with silence because you're not trying to sell yourself. This is the energy that creates that magnetic pull. Now let's talk practically. On a date, instead of filling every pause, let yourself observe her. Watch how she responds to silence. Notice the shift in her eyes when you hold her gaze without rushing to speak. You'll see her curiosity ignite. When she asks questions, don't spit out everything at once. Answer honestly, but let her see you're selective with your words. That's not game. That's respect for yourself. Because if you don't value your own story, why would she? Women want a man they can wonder about, someone they can't predict. It doesn't mean lying or being manipulative. It means living with depth. If you have no interests, no convictions, no principles you hold to yourself, there's no mystery. You're an open book with blank pages. But if you have goals you're working toward, truths you don't broadcast to everyone, values you stand by without explaining them away, she'll feel it. She'll sense she's dealing with a man who knows himself, and she'll want to know you more. Now, this is uncomfortable for many men because it means risking that she might lose interest. And that's exactly why it's so powerful. Your willingness to be silent, to be slow to reveal, tells her, if you walk away because I'm not dancing for you, so be it. That non-attachment is unbelievably attractive. It's rare, because most men are terrified of losing her interest. They try to win her over with jokes, compliments, endless texting, and she feels it. It's not masculine. Masculine energy is patient. It doesn't force. It invites. This is ancient. Think of a fire in the dark. It doesn't chase you. It burns steadily, but you want to move closer. That's the essence of masculine mystery. Your silence is that steady flame. It signals to her that you're not threatened by her tests. You don't rush to prove yourself. You don't collapse under her scrutiny. You remain, and she comes closer because she feels safe. Women want to feel you're solid, someone who won't break when they test your boundaries, and they will test you. They'll challenge your opinions, push your buttons, not because they're cruel, but because they need to know you're real, that you're strong, that you're someone they can lean on when life gets hard. Silence is the crucible where you prove that, because it's where you show you can wait. You can listen. You can stand your ground without barking like an angry dog or running away like a scared child. It's where you show her there's more to you than what you say. Because ultimately, women don't fall in love with your words. They fall in love with your presence, your steadiness, your mystery, your unspoken promise that you are more than you reveal. That's the dark silence she can't resist. That's the silence that makes her addicted. Drop a comment below. Tell me if you've ever seen mystery work in your own dating life. Chapter 3. Silence as emotional strength. Now let's talk about what really separates men who master silence from those who fake it. It's emotional strength. You see, silence isn't just about withholding words. It's about controlling your emotional responses. Women read emotions more sharply than most men realize. They see the flicker in your eyes when you're offended. They feel the tension when you're defensive. They sense the desperation when you're eager to please. This is why so many men fail at being mysterious. They think if they just stop talking, they'll seem powerful. But inside, they're boiling with anxiety. She feels that because silence isn't just the absence of sound. It's the presence of calm. When you master your emotions, your silence becomes reassuring. It tells her, you can't shake me. Your tests don't scare me. Life's chaos doesn't break me. That's the masculine gift. It's not about being stone-hearted or cold. It's about being the rock in the storm. Because let's be honest, life is emotional. Relationships will trigger you. She will challenge you. If you can't handle that in silence, you can't handle her heart. Think about ancient warriors. They trained not just to fight, but to remain calm. A swordsman who loses his composure dies. A general who panics loses the war. Silence was discipline. Stillness was mastery. It's the same in love. If she cries, can you hold space without rushing to fix her? If she's angry, can you let her vent without crumbling? If she tests you, can you stand firm without lashing out? This is the true power of masculine silence. It's the space where you choose your words instead of reacting blindly. Most men don't even realize they're reactive. She says something that hits their ego, and they immediately defend, argue, explain. That's weakness, because you're letting her control you. Real strength is when you pause, you breathe, you let her emotion move past you like wind over a mountain. Then if you speak from choice, not fear, not anger, not desperation. That's what makes your words meaningful. Because they're not coming from a wounded place, they're coming from a centered place. Women trust that, they respect it, and yes, they're drawn to it. Because in you, they see safety, not the safety of a doormat who fears conflict, but the safety of a man who can hold her emotions without being ruled by them. That's rare. That's attractive. So don't just practice being quiet. Practice being still inside. Meditate if you have to. Train your mind. Learn to observe your emotions instead of obeying them. because the man who can master silence outside, bored and calm inside, is truly unshakable. And that is the man she cannot forget. That is the man she will choose when things get real. Drop a comment below. Tell me if you're working on controlling your emotions in silence. Chapter 4. Becoming the man she can't walk away from now. We reach the heart of it all. You've heard why silence is presence, why mystery fuels desire, why emotional strength turns silence from emptiness into power. But here's the real reason. Dark silence makes her addicted because it forces her to invest. Listen carefully. We chase what we work for. We value what we earn. If you hand yourself over too easily, every thought, every fear, every plan, every feeling, you remove the very thing that draws her in. The pursuit, the discovery, the adventure of learning you. Women don't fall in love with men who dump their entire souls on the first date. They fall for the man who invites them to go deeper, slowly. She wants to feel she's unlocking you, not buying you off the shelf. This is ancient, primal, tribal chieftains, samurai, philosophers. They all knew this truth. A man who knows himself doesn't broadcast himself. He doesn't need to prove anything. He lets the world come to him. And women sense this. Your silence becomes a test, one she wants to pass. It says, if you want to know me, earn it. Not because you're arrogant, but because you respect yourself. It sets a standard, and that standard elevates you above 99% of men, because most men don't even have standards for themselves. They chase, they explain, they apologize for wanting, they fear losing her. And in doing so, they lose themselves. But you don't fear the space between words. You know silence isn't rejection, it's invitation. Invitation for her to step in, invitation for her to choose you, Annie, willingly. And that's real attraction. It's not trickery, it's not manipulation, it's truth. Because love without freedom isn't love, and if you're always filling the silence, you're taking away her choice. You're smothering her with your fear. Let her choose you, let her miss you, let her wonder. She will think about you in the quiet of her room. She will replay your words, the few you chose carefully. She will imagine what you're doing when you're not around. That is the seed of obsession, but only if you're strong enough to hold the silence. This is what ancient wisdom teaches. Know thyself, master thyself. Because the man who has mastered himself cannot be manipulated, cannot be rushed, cannot be bought. That man is priceless. She will feel it, and she will value you accordingly. So remember this, your silence must be real. It must come from knowing you don't need to convince her, that even if she walks away, you remain whole. That is the foundation of respect. And without respect, there is no love. So practice this art. Slow down, breathe. Let the space between words do its work. Let her curiosity grow. Let her feel the weight of your presence even when you say nothing, because that's the man she can't replace. That's the man she can't walk away from. Not because he trapped her, but because he freed her to choose, and she chose him. Drop a comment below. Tell me if you're ready to let your silence speak for you.